Hello and welcome to another Autospec Bits episode. Every year I have to prepare my car for the winter. There are a bunch of stuff to do with my Tesla before the winter sets in. If not, it won't work in the winter. It is something that Norwegians have to do every single year, and many other countries as well, like Canada and other Nordic countries, have to prepare their car for the winter. Now, there are some stuff that I've learned up during all these years preparing the cars for the winter. Of course, it is the obvious one like winter tires, but there are some small tips and tricks and stuff that I do to prepare the car for the winter, so I thought, why not make an Autospec Bits episode to at least show you what I do, what the routine is, and talk a little bit about why I do the stuff I do with my Tesla. And it also applies to other electric cars. So maybe if you live in a cold climate, or if you're just curious, please follow with on this episode of Autospec Bits. It's a beautiful day for changing wheels. And yes, I said changing wheels. So these are the summer wheels, and you can see that we have the summer tires on. And now we're going to take a look at the winter wheels that we have here. And they are Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 EV winter tires actually, and even though Autospec usually is sponsored by Nokian, these are what comes on the standard winter wheels from Tesla actually, which is very interesting. Very high quality, best studless winter tires that you can get are the Hakkapeliitta R5 EV. And yeah, we are going studless this time. So these are also on the Uber turbines, 21 inches, and you might think, shouldn't you use smaller wheels for the winter? I'm used to seeing the Steelies for the winter. Well, I don't know what's going through Tesla's head, shipping these 21-inch rims with tires for the winter setup, but I can't really complain. It looks much better than smaller wheels. And of course you will lose a bit of range having these large wheels. I think it's a very strange decision. I haven't seen other automakers do this, or at least they offer some kind of smaller wheels that you can get. But here on the Tesla Model Y Performance in Norway, these are the only ones you can get. And what's even more absolutely insane is that these are 275 and 255s in the front, I believe. And yeah, so there is a staggered setup on the winter setup as well, exactly the same as the summer setup. This means that you can't really rotate your tires. Usually winter tires are directional, so you rotate them from the front to the back and you switch every year, and then a cross pattern on the summer tires or summer wheels. But in this case, it's actually not possible with the winter setup that we have here with yeah, the directional tires. You can't actually rotate the tire at all. They have their own corner to go. You can't put them in the wrong corner. It's not possible without, of course, having the direction arrow in the wrong direction. So you can't rotate them, and that's like a disadvantage of doing it this way. For a proper wheel change, we need a brake bar. We need something to tighten down to the perfect pound-feet or nanometers. So this is used to measure, and then the clicks. You can use a digital one or a mechanical one, doesn't matter. We have a jack that will fit under the Tesla Model Y Performance. It's pretty low profile. These cars are actually very low profile when you add this, which you are supposed to use to help lifting at the right point. If you don't have these, you can still lift the car, but you need to make sure that you lift under the point where this would go and not too far around it, because you will damage the car and you might even total the car if you do so. So I do recommend getting some kind of lifting pucks for the car. We also have this one to help us screw out the lug nuts. And this one should be possible to use to remove the covers over the lug nuts, which is very difficult on these all Tesla wheels really, but especially these. These are incredibly difficult to get off without damaging them, but you can use like a tool like this one, or some even like include the if you buy like third-party rims, you get a tool included. But you can see that I might actually destroy this over time when doing this many times. So there are specialized tools for removing these that are much better than this one. But if you don't have anything else, it is important to change your wheels, so you might as well just use these ones. Before lifting, I want to find the correct wheel, because there is only one wheel that can go on there, because they are directional and staggered together. And that's the worst combination for like rotating wheels, like I mentioned, but it's the best way to kind of find out where everything needs to go. So we need to find the right direction, and we need to find the 255 width, because the front wheels are of course narrower than the rear. So here we have a 275, so it's not this one. It might be this one or this one. Let's see here. Let's find the direction. So here it says rotation this way. So that's the one that needs to go on the other side of the car, because it is rotating this way. So that's the only one left, and that's the one we need to put on the front driver's side. Let's take a look under, and you can see here is the spot where this one is going. So it's going like this into there. I might be able to place it. Yeah, you can place it before you move the jack under, or you can have it on the jack and then move it under, whatever you think is easiest. But make sure that you're lifting at this exact point. We have made sure that it's correctly under and it's actually lifting up the puck and nowhere else. We have tightened the jack, and we have made sure that the car is in full handbrake mode, and there is no jack mode on this car because of course it is springs, no air suspension. But if you have air suspension, another car, you of course need to put the car into jack mode or similar. Anyway, now we're going to lift it up, and we want to lift until we have a good gap under here. There we go, we have a good gap. Now we can loosen the wheel and change it for the winter wheel that we found that will fit in that location. Okay, so find your winter wheel and make sure that the rotation is correct. This is your last chance to check if the rotation is correct. And this is very difficult to lift it up, especially heavy wheels like these ones. But if you sit down, it's much easier. Never go under the car, obviously. There we go. Then use a star pattern to like tighten them, but not tighten them too much, because we will use our torque wrench later on. Here you can see the rotation is in this direction, and we have the 255s, which are supposed to have in the front. So now we know that we have the correct wheel on. Before lowering, make sure that this one is tightened well enough, because if it shifts outwards or inwards when you're lowering the car, you will damage everything here, and you really don't want that. But you don't need to over tighten these yet. You will have a chance to tighten them after everything is done, and also after you have driven around 50-100 kilometers as well. It should be retightened. So just leave it as is, but make sure that everything is snugly fit. And remember to remove the lifting puck under here, because I see a lot of people driving with these still under the car, which is interesting. Then you just repeat this exact same thing around the entire car, but make sure that you put the right wheels on the right places. So this one has the rotation in the correct rotation, of course, and 275 since it's in the rear. So again, the wheels can only go one place on this specific car. If you have a long-range Tesla, you can actually place them around the car. And when you remove the summer wheels that we can see here, make sure to mark where they were so that you can rotate them in the next year. In my case, I can only rotate them on different sides of the car, so they will stay at the front and move to the other side, and the passenger front will move to this side, and vice versa in the rear. And that's because these are, again, a staggered setup, so they are wider in the rear for the front tires. If you had a square setup with a long range, you can rotate them in a cross pattern for the summer tires, and you can rotate them back to front for the winter tires, but that's not the case for me here. Okay, now you kind of just want to tighten everything with a torque wrench, and for this car it's 175 Newton meters. Depending on the wheel and tire setup or car, it might be different. I know Teslas do have a pretty high Newton meter rating, just for your information, but 175 Newton meters for this car in this specific setup. So we just go like this and then tighten, and then until it clicks, and then we are at 175 Newton meters. We tighten in a star pattern, and we do the same for all the wheels. When we are done tightening all these, we don't want to put on the covers over here just yet. So we have the covers right here. Just let me show you. These ones should go on after you have tightened it once more after driving 50 to 100 kilometers. So just keep it off, it's fine, and then put it back on once you have retightened the lug nuts. This is important because this is a high performance car, and especially if driving on the Autobahn or stuff like that, this is crucial. Okay, so every wheel is tightened up perfect, and now we can take a look at the summer tires or the summer wheels that you can see here. And you can see I put a marking here. This is just an easily removable label that won't leave any kind of markings on the rim itself. Anyway, this is the front left, front right, rear left, rear right. So I put them down like this, which is the same configuration they were on the car. I personally mark them in the configuration that they were in, and the next season I will decide where to put the different wheels. Since this is a staggered setup, the front left will move to front right, the front right will move to front left, and exactly the same on the rear, because they are staggered. Like you can see, the rear tires there are actually wider, so they can't go on the front. So that's the way I rotate these tires the next season. The benefit of changing the entire wheel like this is that we get this rotation in automatically. We don't need to rotate our tires or wheels ever because we have seasonal changes. This also leaves us with another benefit, is that we have high performance summer tires and we have super high performance winter tires. So we have the best for both seasons. All seasons wouldn't work in Norway anyways, but for some markets, all seasons are of course a good option. But then you need to remember to rotate your tires regardless. So this doesn't really add any extra work if you think about rotating your wheels. So that was the wheels. Let's move on. After changing winter tires, you go here, you go into service, and you go into wheel and tire, and you go here, and we have a 21-inch Uber turbine still. We go to tires, and we go to winter here, and seasonal tire swap, and reset. There we go. So now the car knows that we have changed tires. Of course, you will get this message immediately when putting on the winter wheels. Also, in the summer, you will get maybe the same message. Anyways, you need to fill up air. And you need to fill up air because the tires should perform better at their recommended level, which is 2.9 bars, which is also what Nokian actually recommends. So it's the same recommendation. You can adjust this a little bit, but you should be close to 2.9 bars or whatever that is in PSIs. Anyway, we will fill up with just a portable tire compressor, which I do recommend to get regardless. So I can now see that 2.9 bars is 42 PSI. So I don't know how to adjust on this one between PSI and bars. I'll just do the conversion instead. And basically I just let it stay like this until we are at the proper tire inflation. Window washer fluid is simple, right? Well, it really isn't that simple. It's quite simple, but there are some things to think about. So first of all, we need a fluid that moves down to minus 15 degrees Celsius. It actually gets colder some of the places I go, so maybe this isn't even enough, but minus 15 should be fine for most use cases in Norway during winter. It won't like freeze at minus 16, yeah. So this is the window washer fluid of my choice. It is a cold weather edition. Very simple, right? But we also have something called Salt X. And Salt X is something that you can actually use directly on the car, but you can also use it inside the washer fluid tank. And this removes the salt film, because in Norway the roads are salted whenever there is snow. So then we get this salt film on our windscreen, which is this kind of gray film, and it won't go away with normal window washer fluid. So then you just add Salt X into the tank, and I'll show you that now. Well, I don't think anyone needs a tutorial for this. This is, oh wow. There we go. And once you have filled as much as you want, you really want to have it full, because the window washer fluid tank in the Model Y is, in my opinion, too small. It's much larger than the Model 3, which is disastrous, but it's still not enough in my opinion. I need to fill window washer fluid very many times during the winter. So then I just add, actually I won't measure, I just add a little bit of Salt X inside there, and then I drive the car hard, and then it will blend together and give us a perfect salt removal window washer fluid mix. Yes, WD-40. This is actually something that it says in the Tesla manual that you should do in the winter, so it's not just me making something up. So what you do is you open the door handles like this, and you will see a spring inside there. And you will basically place this one over the spring, and then just apply a little bit of WD-40, and now it will be easier to open the door handles in the winter. De-ice. Yes, sometimes you need help melting the ice, so I just have a de-icer easily accessible in the car. When it rains, and I know that it'll freeze overnight like it does every night in the winter in Norway, so if you're driving through rainy weather, you know that next day the car will be full of ice over the door handles, over everything. I have this one easily accessible either inside my house or easily accessible in the car where I can open, like in the rear. It is very difficult to freeze the rear hatch on a Tesla, but it's possible actually. Anyway, this one should be easily accessible. You just spray it on, you just wait for a little bit while you are preheating the car, and together you are able to remove ice very fast. So I like to have a little bit of de-icer just easily available. The most important thing in the winter for any electric car, but especially cars that are able to be preheated via the charger, is that you have to leave the car plugged in. Even if you need to charge or not, doesn't matter, you should leave your car in. Why? Because when I start preheating now, it'll use the charger and not deplete the battery, so that I will still have 80% or 100% or whatever your charge limit is available when going on a trip or commuting or whatever. You want to leave it plugged in. When you leave it plugged in, Tesla will actually condition the battery or keep it at temperature that's safe for the battery, and you are quicker to go when you need to. So it's a good thing to just leave your car plugged in at all times. That's exactly what Tesla recommends, and this is the case for most other electric cars as well. Leave the car plugged in, especially in the winter. It'll keep the battery at a good temperature, and it'll be ready to precondition at any time without depleting the battery of the car. I think that was it for this winter prepare video. It's just a short list of things that I've done to the car to make it better in the winter, and things I've learned over time with the door handles and everything. Of course, changing the wheels is very similar to any other car. Anyways, if you found this useful, leave a comment down below and let me know, because maybe I want to do more tips and tricks in the winter. There are still things to do with the cars in the winter to make it even more optimal. So leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching Autospec Bits.